Simulan na natin ang third round of the PBA Gatorade Draft Season 48. Making the first pick in the third round will be the Terra Firma G.
The Terra... Hello, mic test. The Terra Firma Jeep selects JB Bayo.
JB Bayo, formerly of San Beda, now goes to the Terra Firma Jeep as the first pick of the third round of the PBA Gatorade Draft Season 48.
JB Bayo, Terra Firma adding a bit more length to that lineup.
JB Bayo is a complimentary big. You know, he's not really as tall as the regular ones, but I'm sure ito yung sinasabi natin at 6'5", he could really bring something different on the table. He has the energy. One of the guys that has also experience playing in the finals in the NCAA.
No, I think he's pretty skilled for a forward. Great at attacking from the elbow, has a decent mid-range shot, able to drive, can post up a little bit too. He'll be a versatile. Maybe he might have to play a little bit of 3 here. It's a PBA, but I think it's a good pick. And you know, Coach Topex, every time a name's getting called, I'm like, wow, hindi pa pala napipick yun. And now we're in the third round. So it just goes to show again that this is a rather deep draft class.
Is JB going to give a guy like Andreas Cahilig a run for his minutes?
Obviously, he's gonna, yun ang sinabi mo kanina, Magu. Ito yung pick na to, talagang they have to prove their worth. You know, they have to really prove the teams that pick him why they belong in the PBA.
And right now, we are ready for the second pick of the third round.
Selecting second in the third round, the Blackwater Bossing.
With the with the second pick. With the second pick in the third round, the Blackwater Bossing select Clifford Hopia.
Clifford Hopia goes to the Blackwater Bossing as the second pick of the third round. A guy who already showed us what he can do both in the PBA D-League and the PBA on tour.
At 6'8", the Danau City Cebu product Clifford Hopia will get an opportunity with the Bossing.
You know, one thing about Clifford Hopia is I've seen so much improvement in his game, especially in this last year. You know, I've been following him since he played for FEU before moving to San Beda, and he's just improving and improving, and it's scary to see how good he could be, especially when he works hard. Not to mention now Coach Norman Black is helping San Beda too, so you know their big men are just going to get better. And he's one of the tallest players, if not the tallest players in this draft. So it's, you know, again, you can't teach size. I think it's a great pick for Blackwater to get him in the third round.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that really develop or magandang pinakita sa ating PBA on tour, Magu. That's why I'm sure with that height, you'll never go wrong.
So Hopia will be with the Bossing, trying to earn a slot in Coach Jeff Carriazo's rotation here. We take a look at some of his highlights from the PBA on tour when he played for TNT.
I think this is a great experience also for Clifford Hopia to play at the PBA level, get some valuable minutes, adjust to the game, and then also showcase what he can do. And that's probably where Blackwater saw that, hey, you know what, this guy's a good pick for us.
From San Beda, from the TNT on tour team, now will be playing for the Blackwater Bossing. And for the 5th time today, the Rain or Shine Elasto Painters will be making a pick.
We'll go to the third pick of the third round. And as Bagu mentioned, ang pipili ngayon, Rain or Shine Elasto Painters.
The Rain or Shine Elasto Painters select Sherwin Concepcion.
Sherwin Concepcion goes to the Rain or Shine Elasto Painters as the third pick of the third round.
Another one of those guys, Coach Topex, Coach Charles, na magugulat ka, uy, third round, available pa.
I followed his career when he was with Mapua in his juniors, and now he played for UST, so we know also the experience or yung capability that he could bring. I'm sure there's familiarity with Coach Alden Ayo and Sherwin Concepcion. That's why one of the reasons that, you know, ang laking value niya doon, because he really showed his wear when he was with Coach Alden, and I'm sure nakita rin yun ng rain or shine.
For sure. You know, in college, he was playing more of the 4. I believe he'll probably have to work on being more of a 3 spot in the PBA. But one thing for sure is he can shoot and he can score. I think it's a good pick. Again, he's also played after USD and showed a lot of PBAs, a 3x3, what he can do. I think outside touch niya, that's really one of his biggest strengths. He has great range.
He's spent some time with the Cavitex team sa PBA 3x3. He's also been practicing, or he's had an opportunity to practice with NLEX. Let's see what he does with rain or shine. For the 28th overall pick, let's send it back to Jeff.
Making their selection with the 4th pick of the 3rd round, the Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Masters.
The Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Masters select Matthew Daves.
Matthew Daves, former Blue Eagle, goes to the Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Masters as the 4th pick of the 3rd round.
And he's also going to be the 4th selection para dito sa Phoenix Super LPG for the Season 48 draft.
Now, Matthew Daves, another winner who's coming from that Ateneo program. Coach Jamike picking a lot of guys that have won championships in their college career. He's an athletic forward, actually skipped playing in the UAP to decide to join the draft, and he gets rewarded for it. You know, he's a bit of a bruiser too, but very athletic, very mobile for a big. Again, maybe a bit undersized as a forward, but I'm sure he'll be able to adjust to playing both forward spots in the PBA.
Yes, itong si Daves nga, Charles, you know, he's really gonna help. I mean, malaking experience then that he's gonna play against Jason Perkins. I'm sure that Jason Perkins will really help out itong si Matthew Daves, and yun nga, malaking addition nito para sa koponan ng Phoenix.
So Matthew Daves will get an opportunity with Coach Jamike and Phoenix Super LPG. Up next, it is going to be the Batang Pier once again as we send it back to the stage.
With the 5th pick of the 3rd round, ang pipili naman ngayon ay ang Northport Batang Pier.
Northport select Brent Paraiso.
Brent Paraiso goes to the Northport Batang Pier as the 5th pick ng 3rd round ng PBA Gatorade Draft Season 48.
At 6'1", Brent Isaac Paraiso will be heading over to the Northport Batang Pier. Isa na namang produkto to ng Colegio de San Juan de Letran.
Yes, itong si Brent Paraiso, a proven winner, a solid guard. He's smart enough to really lead this team. Mautak na player, and I'm sure, yun nga, isa ito sa mga players ni Coach Bonnie Tan that I'm sure will help his lead dito sa PBA.
I think he's had success in whatever school he's played for. He came from De La Salle, he went to USD before winning again in Letran. I mean, I saw firsthand what type of a player he is. He has balls for sure. He's a tough kid. He makes big plays, big shots, has a lot of confidence, and you know, he was very vital to the championship of Letran, and you know, that connection with Coach Bonnie, I'm sure will also help him out here in the PBA.
Sa pang di napipili pala si Fran Yu, no? Still in the pool right now as we approach the halfway mark of this 3rd round. But Paraiso will be having an opportunity here.
Yeah, if you're gonna look at Brent's style of basketball, kahit nung college pa to, medyo PBA ready na yung ano to, yung skill, yung capabilities. Not really as quick, but he's really smart. And what I love about Brent Paraiso, he has the confidence to take those big shots.
And we move on to the next pick, and it belongs to NLEX.
This will be NLEX's 3rd pick in this whole draft. Pakinggan natin kung sino pipiliin nila as the 6th pick of the 3rd round.
NLEX pick Dominic Fajardo.
Dominic Fajardo, one of the biggest feel-good stories of the PBA on tour as well as PBA 3x3, stays home with the NLEX Road Warriors.
And you can't be nothing but happy for a guy like Dominic Fajardo, working his whole life to get to this point, and he will be staying home with the NLEX Road Warriors.
Yeah, dreams do come true para dito kay Dominic Fajardo. We talked about kanina Keith Jimenez. Ito namang si Dominic Fajardo. Iba rin ang ruta na pinagdaanan nito. And he showed his wear during his 3x3 tour at itong PBA on tour. Really showed his wares. Undersized big, masasabi natin. But what you cannot take out from this is his heart.
Yeah, you can't help but feel happy for Dominic. Now, I actually got the chance to see him play when he was still in Bulacan State. And then reading about his story, seeing his success at PBA on tour. And again, we've been talking about how teams that they like to pick their own guys from the PBA 3x3, PBA on tour because it adds continuity. They know what you can bring and maybe you can fit into their system a bit better. But we're happy for Dominic. You know, he can play in the PBA as he showed us playing both the 3x3 and on tour.
Yun nga, no? Antibay din ng loob neto ni Dominic Fajardo. Another Dominic in the third round of the PBA draft. Pero sigurado naman, mas magiging promising ang career neto ni Fajardo kaysa doon sa isang Dominic named Uy. Jut, next pick.
Alright, now we move forward. 7th pick naman tayo ng third round. And this pick will be made by the Converge Fiber Xers.
For the third round, the Converge Fiber Xers select Inan Val Fornilos.
Inan Fornilos goes to the Converge Fiber Xers as the 7th pick of the third round ng PBA Gatorade Draft Season 48.
And as we told you, the PBA definitely is global this season. Born in Bangkok, stands 6'2". Eto si Fornillos came out of the ADMU Blue Eagle stable and now has been picked 31st overall.
Another former teammate of team manager Jacob Lau. Inan's a really good guy. You know, watching him from high school where he was a really, really good player for LaSalle Green Hills, then maybe not getting as much opportunities playing in college. But this guy's an athletic specimen. He can shoot, he plays hard, he can rebound. A little bit undersized, perhaps for a forward spot. But, you know, who knows? Maybe they can convert him to be more of a guard. He can also defend, and he plays hard. So I'm sure Coach Aldin Aya will also love to have him on the team.
You know, Inan Fornilos, you might not haven't seen him play because he rarely plays. But yun na, sinasabi natin, nakikita rin ng coaches yung character. You know, if you are looking for somebody who's going to be the 15th, the 16th, sometimes he's not going to make the lineup, but will always bring his A game in practice. Yun yung mga bagay that really is valuable to a team.
And for pick number 32 overall, it'll be the Meralco Bolts. Let's send it back to John.
Meralco will be picking 8th in the third round. Let's hear who they will be selecting.
For the Meralco Bolts, third round, 8th pick, we pick Jose Lorenzo Mendoza.
Jolo Mendoza, chosen by the Meralco Bolts with the 8th pick of the third round.
Going to be just the second pick today para dito. Sa Meralco Bolts, they went with Brandon Bates in the first round. And now Jolo Mendoza ends up with the Bolts here in the third.
This guy can score. He can shoot. He can score from his high school days playing for the RP team as the RP youth member. You know, he's always been a scorer. Again, maybe didn't get as much run playing for Ateneo. Decides to forgo his playing years, play pro, and then shows enough for Meralco to trust him. And who knows, you know, it kind of reminds me how Aaron Black maybe didn't get to play as much in Ateneo, but look at him now becoming a legitimate PBA star. Maybe Jolo can sort of follow in that mold one day.
Yeah, Jolo Mendoza is really a smart player. You know, he's not really as athletic as the other guards, but what he could really bring is somebody who's really, he's a thinking player. You know, he knows when to take shot, when he knows when to pass the ball, and I'm sure that's one of the things that the coaching staff of Meralco has seen. That's why they pick itong si Jolo Mendoza.
And doon sa binanggit mo, Coach Charles, ang laking bagay na magiging kakampi niya si AB Aaron Black. Baka nga sakali, ano? Mag-guide na maganda-ganda ni AB. And to help Jolo continue to believe in himself. Meralco has gotten 2 picks. The next team picking will be doing so for the first time today. Let's meet them with Jatsulit.
With the 9th pick of the third round ng PBA Gatorade Draft Season 48, tulad ng sabi ni Magu, for the first time in this draft, matatawag natin ang TNT Tropang Giga.
TNT Tropang Giga passes.
RDO himself announces that TNT will pass with their pick. And that brings us to the next pick. Picking with the 10th selection ng third round, puntahan na natin ang Magnolia Chicken Templados Hot Shots.
Magnolia Hot Shots Chicken Templados pick Patrick Magdenberg.
Pat Magdenberg will be going to the Magnolia Chicken Templados Hot Shots as the 10th pick of the third round of PBA Gatorade Draft Season 48.
Great size picked here by Magnolia as they are selecting for the first time here in Season 48. Magdenberg from New Zealand and out of the Ateneo stable will be joining the Hot Shots.
It's been a day for all the Kiwis, all the New Zealanders getting picked. Patrick Magdenberg's a really tough player and a hard nose. I've seen him play for Ateneo and he just plays hard. Maybe again a bit undersized, but he's physical enough to bang bodies. You see him guarding the imports at times, and it's not a bad pick for Magnolia.
Yeah, when you talk about Patrick Magdenberg, you talk about physicality, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons why Coach Chito Bectolero decided to go with Patrick, because he's gonna make guys like Calvin better in practice with his physicality. Alam naman natin that sometimes you need somebody like that to really wake up yung mga starters more second group, that there's somebody there waiting for that opportunity.
Ang maganda dito, despite his size, yung footwork neto ni Magdenberg, very, very impressive, coaches.
Yeah, it's really fundamentally sound. He came from Ateneo, so I'm sure that he's gonna bring his experience here sa Magnolia Hot Shot.
So Coach Chito Victolero has made his selection now for the first time dito na nga po sa third round. And Barangay Nebra is up next. Let's send it back to John.
Kung yung Magnolia, first time that they made the selection here in this draft, eto namang Ginebra will be making their second selection in this entire draft with the 11th pick of the third round. Let's turn it over to the Barangay.
Barangay Ginebra picks Kim Cyril Aurin.
Kim Aurin, who also showed out for Ginebra in the PBA 3x3 at sa PBA on tour. He stays a resident of the Barangay as the 11th pick of the third round.
So yung mga kagawat ng Barangay na-re-elect na po. Kim Aurin, one of those guys who really changed the tide together with Ralph Pu and Salcedo, of course, and Gumaru ng Barangay Nebra 3x3.
I've seen him play from his perpetual days. This guy can score really inside, outside, can post up, physical player. It was nice to see him have some success 3x3. And then again, we talk about the continuity here again. Somebody that's familiar with their system, maybe able to adjust to them, maybe able to compete for a spot on the roster.
Kitong si Kim Aurin paying his dues, representing Barangay Ginebra. He really did well in their 3x3 and also on their PBA on tour. So binibigyan lang ng reward ng Barangay Ginebra yung pinakita na gilas nitong si Kim Aurin.
Kaya naman narinig mo, yung ovation pagtawag sa pangalan ni Kim Aurin. The people here inside the Ayala Malls Market loving this pick para sa Barangay Ginebra San Miguel. He'll give you offense, he'll give you hustle, but most importantly, he'll give you his heart.
For sure, and he can score. I mean, there's always talent there. It's not that he has no talent. This guy is actually a pretty talented scorer.
You see what he did over on the PBA on tour, and right now he's standing by with Miss Bea.
Kim Aurin stays or goes to Barangay Ginebra. Kim, congratulations. What does this achievement mean to you?
Sobrang special nito, siyempre. Pangarap ko to at pangarap ng pamilya sa akin to. So, sobrang special.
Kamusta naman ang feeling na you will be joined by your fellow teammate also in the 3x3 and a lot of strong players as well in Barangay Ginebra?
Ayun nga, matagal ko na rin sila nakasama and excited na ako makasama sila sa training ulit at alam ko marami matutunan sa kanila.
Alright, congratulations to you, Kim. Now let's turn it over to Hans.
Thank you so much, Bea. I am with the wife of Kim Aurin, Mrs. Trisha Aurin. Kanina sabi ni Kim, pangarap daw niya maging part of the PBA and of Barangay Ginebra. So ngayon, nangyari na yon. Even kanina or before sa 3x3, kasama niya ang Barangay Ginebra. So given the sacrifices of Kim, ano ngayon ang pakiramdam mo at na-achieve na niya yung pangarap na yon?
Una sa lahat, nagpapasalamat ako sa Panginoon kasi nung una is nagdadalawang isip pa kami kung tutuloy siya ng draft niya. Then sabi namin, hingi tayo ng sign kay Lord. Then ito yung sign sa kanya. Kaya sobrang thankful ako at sobrang proud na proud ako sa kanya. At nandito ako para mag-support sa kanya since day one.
There you have it. Now I turn it over to Judd.
We are now down to the final pick ng third round. This team will be picking for the first time in this draft. With their pick, makukumpleto na ang all 12 teams making their selection in this draft. We turn it over to the San Miguel Beermen for the 12th pick in the third round.
With the 12th pick in the third round, San Miguel Beer selects John Troy Malilin.
Troy Malilin goes to the San Miguel Beermen as the 12th pick of the third round.
These Blue Eagles are flying off the shelf in this draft, Coach Charles.
Troy Malilin, another product of Ateneo, very athletic forward, wing, whatever you want to call it. You know, he was also an MVP level player coming from LaSalle Green Hills in high school. You know, didn't really get too much on Ateneo. Decides to go pro, play in the MPBL. I guess he's able to showcase his talent there and his physical gifts, and you know, it was enough to convince San Miguel to take him on this pick. But you know, he's a project. I think he has a lot of talent, and he could one day become a solid wing player in the PBA.
You know, we've seen itong si Troy Malilin grew from, you know, playing high school, playing college, at now mapapakita yung gilas niya na rin dito sa PBA. He gives you a lot of energy, mag-good defensively, he keeps the ball alive. You know, he has a confidence also to shoot those perimeter shots. And I guess, again, for somebody who's willing to slug it out to get that opportunity, and I'm sure Troy Malilin will really be excited to be part of SMB.
And that will give every PBA team an opportunity already to have picked here, but only TNT not selecting anybody. 35 names have been called. Still a lot waiting in the wings. 3 rounds in, round number 4 ng ating PBA drafts for season 48 will be coming up on the other side of this break.